welcome to CEC lectures. Myself Dr. Preeti Jagwani from Department of Computer Science, Aryabhatta College, University of Delhi. So in this series of Java, in our previous lectures, we have learnt about constructor. We have learnt about kind of overloading, and then we have seen how methods are overloaded, and then how constructors are overloaded. Apart from that, we have also gone through one very important topic, which was passing methods, which was passing objects into the methods. And now our today's topic is actually kind of I can say it's a complementary to the passing objects to the method. It is about returning objects from the method. So method as its return type can return any type of data, we all are aware. So this any type of data, when I am saying, that means it may include a primitive type of data, and it can also include any class types which are created. So that means objects are well kind of equipped for returning objects. So let us see, if we actually want to return a program, how are we actually want to return an object, how are we going to make a program for this particular thing. So here we have a class test in which one instance variable integer a is there, and then we have a constructor test which is actually taking one integer variable and giving its value to a, and after this we have one more method which is increment by 10, and please kind of I can say notice the return type of this increment by 10 method, and that is nothing but the class type itself, that is test. So whenever we are saying int and then the function name, that means that function is returning a type of variable int. So here this function inc by 10 is actually returning a type of a variable of type test, and within this function what we have done is we have created a temporary I can say object of class test, and the parameter which has been passed is kind of whatever the value of a, that a has been incremented by 10, and that incremented parameter is actually passed, and the temp has been returned. So now when I am saying temp has been returned, please notice the data type of temp. The data type of temp is actually test, or I can say this is a reference variable to an object of the class test, and whenever we are writing the return type while defining the function which is inc by 10, we are saying it as that this function is returning test. And if we actually want to kind of see how it works, so within our main function we have created two objects or two reference variables of this test. One in which we have passed a parameter of 2. So one OB1, that means a reference variable to the object has been created, and the next is OB2. Whatever is going to be the result of OB2, that is if we can see on the right hand side, we have written OB2 is equals to OB1 dot inc by 10. So using this OB1 object, I am calling a method of class test, and that method is actually doing what? That method is kind of calling this function inc by 10 and creating a new temporary variable or creating a new temporary object, and then that temporary object or the instance variable of that temporary object has been given the value of a plus 10. So here it will be 12, and this is kind of returning temp. And now this temp is actually kind of we can say stored in OB2. So if we are going to see how it is going to work, so we have we are going to print OB1 dot a, the value of OB1 dot a will be printed. Then we have OB2 dot a, the value of OB2 dot a will be printed, and again once more we have called increment by 10 using OB2 only. So, OB2 dot increment by 10, and the result will be again stored in OB2, and we have kind of, I can say, printed the value of OB2 dot A after the second increase. So, three values we have printed, which are OB1 dot A, OB2 dot A, and then OB2 dot A again by incrementing 10. So, the initial value of OB1 dot A will be 2, which we have passed. Then the value will be kind of, we can say, 2 plus 10, which is actually 12, and after the second increment it will be incremented again, I can say. So, here in this program we have seen how we can kind of return the methods. Now, when we talk about Java as a object oriented programming language, one main feature of any object oriented programming language is apart from others, is encapsulation, that is linking data with the code that is going to modify it, that is going to manipulate the data. And encapsulation provides, we can say, a dimension, a new dimension to an important attribute, which is nothing but access control, because through encapsulation we can control what parts of program can be accessed by members of class, and through this controlling the access we can prevent the misuse of our data. So, how are we going to do that? So, for example, in order to allow access to data, we can have a well defined set of methods, and that well defined set of methods can only be given access to data. So, how are we going to kind of accomplish this? That is, a member can be accessed will be determined by the access modifier which is attached to its declaration. Now, whenever I am saying access modifier, so basically Java is actually having a rich set of access modifiers, and depending upon which member is given or which member is kind of tagged with which access modifier, that access modifier is going to define the I can say extent of the access that member will be given to, or basically it is kind of how member is accessed will be determined by the access modifier. So, when we say access modifiers, what are the types of access modifiers available in Java? So, we have actually four type of access modifiers. One is default, for which we do not require any keyword. So, if we do not if we have not mentioned any access modifier in with any of the member, that means we have default access modifier. Then the second one is the private access modifier. Then we have the protected one. Protected one is mainly used, or is used actually when we are talking about the I can say inheritance feature. So, it is used with the subclasses and superclasses, and apart from that we have public also. So, types of access modifiers in Java is basically four. We have default, we have private, we have protected, and we have public. So, for default no keyword is required, for private the keyword is private, for public the keyword is public, and for protected the keyword is protected. Now, these access modifiers actually help us to restrict what? They help us to restrict scope of a class, they help us to restrict scope of a constructor, scope of a variable, scope of a method, or it could be a data member. And by this restriction, they provide security, accessibility, etc. to the user, depending upon what or which access modifier has been used with that particular element. So, access modifiers, as the name I have told you, public, private, protected, and default, out of which default is the one which is not requiring any keyword, default, as you understand, and then the protected applies only when the inheritance is involved. So let us look kind of them briefly, and then we will try to understand the significance of all the access modifiers with the help of programs as well. So when we say public, this public the elements which are public can be accessed by any other code, and when I am saying private, that means these elements which are private can be accessed by other members of its own class only, not by any other member outside its class. And that is why you must have now understood that why our main function has always been preceded with the public modifier. Please recall, we always say public static void main, because main it's a necessary requirement to make this main as the public, because it is called by the code that is outside the program. And which code I am talking about here? Who is calling the main? Actually, when are we running a program after compilation, the main is actually being called by Java runtime system, and this Java runtime system, it's something which is outside the program. So a code which is, or kind of I can say a system which is staying outside the program and calling a particular function return inside a program, that means that function has to be public. So that is why main is actually always preceded by the modifier public. And now when we talk about all these modifiers one at a time, let us take default first. So default access modifier, as I have told you, is default when no access modifier is used, then by default the member of class is public within its own package, but cannot be accessed outside its package. Now here in this definition we have a new term, and that new term is nothing but package. We are going to have a huge, or I can say a detailed discussion on this package thing. But as of now you can understand, or you can assume that actually package is a kind of I can say a group of classes. As of now we are going with package as the taking as the definition as kind of a group of classes or a group of related classes. So let us say we have defined a package P1, and class class 1, class 2 and class 3 are return inside that package. So that means all these 3 classes are belonging to that package. So when we talk about default access modifier, that means no access modifier is specified. It is said to have a default access control, and all these default access members or these default members are accessible only with the only within the same package. Now in order to see this with the help of a program, let us create 2 packages, and we will be having different classes in those 2 packages, and these classes will be having elements, or kind of we can say methods with default access modifiers. That means no access modifier is being kind of prefixed. And let us try to see what is happening when we are going to, or when we are trying to access one class from another package, or one class let us try to see what is happening when we are accessing a class from one package from a class of the second package. So let us see here. So we have in order to define a package, we are going to just write the term package, it is a keyword here, and the name of the package. Please note carefully that this is going to be followed by a semicolon, and then we have defined a class G1, and outside this class we have not or just before this class keyword we have not written any public, we have not written any private, or we have not written any protect. So that means the default access modifier is attached with this class G1, and within this we have a display function which is returning void, and this display function is doing nothing actually, this is just printing a statement which is hello world. Now in the next file we are defining, or we are defining a new package which is package P2, again followed by semicolon, and here we are importing P1 dot star. So P1 dot star means the whole of P1 package, although we have just one class here, but when I am saying import P1 dot star, that means all the classes of P1 are actually now attached with this file also, or this program I can say here. So import P1 dot star is there, that means all the classes of P1 are now available here, and then we are having a class G2 which is actually a class of package P2 because we have started defining P2. And with this public static void main, we are trying to access the class of package P1, that was G1, within the class within the class G2, and in order to access that we have written G1 obj is equals to new G1. Now G1 is actually, the class G1 is actually available here by the virtue of the statement import P1 dot star, but as kind of that is having a default access specifier, it is not declared as a public class. So that means this cannot be accessed from any other package, or this cannot be accessed by the elements of any other package. Originally this G1 is inside this package P1, and now we have defined P2 in which we have defined one more class G2, and that G2 is trying to access G1. So this is not going to work, and it will produce an compile time error, giving us a proof of that your default access modifier is about accessing the members within that within that package only. So after this default access modifier, let us try to understand what is this private. So private access modifier, the keyword is going to be private. So the member whom you want to make access, whom you want to access privately, that will be the that will be prefixed by the term or by the keyword private. And whenever an element of an program is private, so why I am saying an element, it could be a class, it could be a method, or it could be any other kind of variable also. So these private elements are accessible only within the class in which they are declared, and any other class of the same package will not be able to access these members, while the default ones are available to all the classes in the package. But private is kind of, I can say, it is much more restrictive than the default. Any other class even of the same package will not be able to access private methods or private elements. So let us see this program, or let us see this code with the help of a program. So we have a package P1 in which we are going to define a class A. So please remember, this class A here is not prefixed with private. That means this private this class A is actually having default access. Then within this class A we have a display method which is of type private, and this display method, as you can see, that actually doing nothing, just printing hello world, and then it is followed by the closing of class A, or the closure of class A. And within the same package B, I have not changed package here, I am going to define one more class B. Again this class is having default access specifier, but this class B is actually a part of this package P1 because this is written within the same package. And now this class B, through its main method, is trying to access private method of another class. So for example, an object of class A in the name of obj is being created, and the statement goes like this: A obj is equals to new A. This is this is a statement which we have already used many number n number of times for creation of object. So the object has been created, fine, and why you are able to use this A here, or why you are able to use or why you are able to create this object here, because this A is actually a default class, or having an excess of default keyword. So yes, class A can be used within that particular package by any other class, but if we want to access obj.display, that means the display method through the object of class A, we will not be able to kind of access it, because this display, you can notice here, is a private element, or it's a private method. So I can say that your private methods, or private elements cannot be accessed even even by any other class within the same package. And this display will say has a private access in A, and this error will be kind of displayed, and you will not be able to access your A thing. So when we talk about the next modifier, which is the protected modifier. Protected modifier, I am saying that it is an access modifier which is specified by using the keyword protected. All the methods, data members declared as protected are accessible within the same package or the subclasses in the different packages. So now here we have kind of a new concept introduced, which is of the subclasses, and the subclasses and the superclasses, or the parent and the child classes, I will be taking in greater detail when we talk about the inheritance concept implementation in Java. So as of now we understand it like this, that this protected access modifier is for subclasses, or it is to be used along with the concept of we can say inheritance. In the next next in the line is our public access modifier. The keyword is obviously public here. It is having the widest scope among all other modifiers. So private are only accessible within their own class, not even with the other classes of the same package. Then comes default. It is allowed to access default members with the other classes in the same package. As far as protected is concerned, they are for kind of special cases of inheritance, while if I am talking about public, all the classes, methods or data members that are declared at public are accessible from everywhere in the program, or even kind of from the outside, from a system which is outside the program, and there is no restriction on the scope of public data members. And that is why we have already seen that our main method is actually public. So in order to illustrate this public modifier, let us consider a very small program which says here is a package P1 and a class public, and we have prefixed this class A, declaration of this class A with the keyword public, and then we have another method, we have a method within this class A which is also public, and then within another package we have started with the next package, which is package P2, and we have imported P1, and here within the main function, if I am going to create an object of class A as A obj is equals to new A, this is a perfectly valid statement, because A class being public can be accessed here. And similarly, if I am talking about obj.display, that is accessing this display function using the object of class A, that is also allowed, because display is also here kind of I can say it is a method which is declared as public. So both the statements will work fine, and now we can say that yes, public is or a public access modifier will allow elements to be accessed even from everywhere, we can say, and it is having no restriction on the scope of these public data members. So here is a table giving you a kind of complete we can say view of which particular access modifier which will allow the members or the elements to be accessed where, and this is a kind of I can say a complete snapshot of all the access modifiers. Yes, some situations are there when I am talking about subclasses or different packages here, that is yet to be kind of discussed within ourselves, and yes, we will be discussing when we will be talking about the topic of inheritance. So in this lecture we have started with how methods are returning objects, or what will be the kind of coding strategies behind that, and then we have tried to, with small examples, we have tried to understood all the access modifiers which are default, public, private and protected. Here is a list for the uh, here is the list of the references which is being used for the preparation of lecture. I hope you have enjoyed one. I'll see you in the next lecture. Till then, take care. Goodbye.